A very good evening. Welcome to Dream Center TV. A very warm welcome to every one of us who are joining us wherever you are live with us. And please share the link. Tell everybody the long-awaited program you are waiting for has started. Welcome to the Voice of the Apostles. We are running a program, Think, Pray, and Vote. So just make sure you share the link. Go live to YouTube, Gets of Glory. We are live there. Dream Center is with you with yet another exciting program this evening. You know, we will keep doing this, and we're just remaining with a few days before the elections, and we want to make sure we just amplify it and take it to another level. So we continue with yet another exciting episode where we are having the mirror. And I think this is our last mirror because we've been featuring the others. And I know we will just keep pushing it until the day of the elections. In the studio this evening, I'm relatively excited to have Honorable Ellington Chipoka, who is in the studio. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, prophetess, and good evening to our viewers and listeners all across the district and the country.
Thank you. You are live with us. Please make sure you share that link, Gets of Glory. Go to YouTube and share Gets of Glory and make sure everybody is listening now. The reason we're doing this, we're giving you an opportunity to have a dialogue with the aspiring mirror. That means that you have an opportunity to ask them any kind of question. So as we're getting into the discussion, we're going to allow you to ask questions while the interviews are going on, the discussions are going on. Make sure you ask any type of questions that you have relating to him standing as a mayor of Ndola, and then we will be able to handle that at the end of the program. So we want to make sure that you are listening to everything that we are asking, and if there are any questions that we are missing, you are free to ask. Share that link. This is your time now. You know, just write whatever it is that you want to ask him about his position. It becomes an ideal opportunity for you to know more about Honorable Ellington Chipoka, who's standing as for the position of the mayor in the city of Ndola. So let's get into business. Remember to share that link, YouTube Gets of Glory, share it and ask any questions you want as we are having this conversation. It becomes an opportunity for you to ask any kind of questions. Yes, so now let's get into business. Honorable Ellington Chipoka. I'm excited to have you on this evening's program.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited as well.
Are we geared? Are we game?
We are game.
Okay. Let's start with what we always start with. That is the introduction. You know what I mean? So we want to know, just give us a little bit of a background. Who's this dude we see on the poster? Who's this honorable we see on the poster? Who's this highness we see on the, you know, people have different titles they can call you, but just let the people know who you are. What do they need to know about you? And then we can pick it up from there.
Thank you so much. I'm very sure that a lot of Ndola residents have heard of this young independent aspirant mayor by the names of Ellington Chipoka. And I'm also very sure and confident that the majority are in support, and reason being is because they know this person in and out. So for those that don't know me, for those that have been asking themselves, who is Mr. Chipoka? Well, here is the opportunity. Mr. Chipoka is a family man. He's a father. Born on July 14th, 1993. Mr. Chipoka is 28 years of age. Mr. Chipoka has a wife, he has a daughter, and he comes from a family of 4. Mr. Chipoka has been in Ndola the entire 28 years, or should I say 26, because the 2 years I was in Lusaka. That's where work is concerned. So I did my primary education at Kanini Basic School. That was my 8 and 9. And I went further on to complete at Milemu Secondary School, which is in Kabushi, here in Ndola. Furthermore, I acquired two certificates, one in grammar and communication, and one in conflict and resolution skills, right here in Ndola. That was just some months before I joined the Zambia Police Service. That was in 2013, and I was trained at the Geoffrey Mukuma Paramilitary School in Kafue, and further on, I was deployed to high state security institutions in the country. Later in 2016, I was redeployed to Copper Belt Division headquarters. A year later, or should I say close to a year later, I was deployed at Ndola Central Police Station, where I worked under the Zambia Police Service until 2019, when I resigned from the service, good reasons, of course. And I formed my own non-governmental organization, which a lot of the Ndola people know to be helping so many in our community, which is Leaders Initiative Network, Lean Foundation. So basically, before it was before the nominations that I was president of that foundation. So after a time when I filed in my nominations to run for mayor for the city of Ndola, I relieved myself from being president of that foundation because the core values and the constitution does not allow partisan politics in the foundation. So I respect that. So currently, I'm running for mayor. This is who Mr. Chipoka is.
Awesome. So that's an interesting background, and so you had to put away the organization that you were running because you had to enter into politics. The quick question then comes in: you are now in this political field. Do you have a background in politics, and what really inspired you to stand as a mayor? Where is the inspiration coming from? What's the notion behind you standing as a mayor?
Firstly, I would love to correct, if I'm allowed to. I've not put away the foundation. It's still running,
Okay.
very active. I have relinquished my position
Okay.
as president so that I focus on the parties and politics currently in our country. Now, not to say I am a politician. I don't like being called a politician.
Okay.
I am a humanitarian
Okay.
because I look in the welfare of the people, from childhood to work life to the organization that I'm proud to say is looking after 90,000 youths and women and children across the country. I am a humanitarian. So my core values or my ambition for aspiring for the office of mayor is not to go and politicize the welfare of people, but to protect the rights of people, to help the needs of people. The one reason that triggered me to vie for this position is no other than the suffering of our people, the women, the children of our old age in communities that now these so-called politicians have decided to turn into a game. People's lives are being taken for granted in the name of politics. So to me, that's an injury. It breaks my heart that we are giving so much power and so much hope and trust to the people we are calling politicians, so that they in turn come to the aid and rescue of our fellow people in communities. But surprisingly, this has turned into a political scenario where people will just come and talk, and tomorrow they'll go and have peace of mind. both to God and to man, for me who's a Christian, that is so wrong. So now I'm asking myself, if we are people that really care for the general masses are not standing for them, who will? Mm. So my mandate for aspiring for mayor is to come to the rescue of people. That's why I am a humanitarian, not a politician.
Awesome. And you are standing as an independent. Is there any reason why you're standing? What was there no party that you could work with? Why did you decide to run as an independent?
First of all, I'm a learned person to an extent where I cannot be easily persuaded into a wrongdoing. That's me. That's Mr. Chipoka for you. So I have come to understand that most of the time, our political parties are not really superseding or spearheading the good welfare of the people, which is against my ethics as a humanitarian. Mine is to stand with the people, for the people, under whatsoever conditions or circumstances. So I did not want to be in any political party, and I have never been, I'm putting this on record, I have never been under any political party my entire life for the reason of I don't want to jeopardize my discipline core values of life. I don't want to jeopardize my principles of humanitarianship. So I prefer going independent so that I am answerable only to the people, not to an individual supreme over me, not to a constitution I don't believe in, not to a manifesto I don't believe in. So me going independent is strictly to answer to the people only.
Awesome. That is, well, you are live on the Voice of the Apostles, and we are having a conversation with Honorable Ellington Chipoka, who's standing as the aspiring mayor for the city of Ndola. So wherever you are, continue to share that link. YouTube gets of glory, and feel free to write those questions and ask any kind of question in relation to his standing. Remember that we will answer all those questions at the end of the program, so that we can we just level this conversation in the point where it's supposed to. So just feel free to ask any questions. He's here to answer any questions, and then we'll get into everything that you need to know about him, his standing, and why he is standing. Honorable, we continue to build on with our conversation. Praise the Lord. So you are standing as a mayor of the city of Ndola, and I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, okay, so here's a leader. He wants to stand. The question is, what is your plan for the city of Ndola? Do you have anything that you want to do for the city of Ndola?
Yes,
Yes,
I do. My plan for the city of Ndola is sanity.
okay.
One word. It's one word, but it has a bigger understanding. I'll explain it for you. Ndola has slowly but gradually lost its value. And this is in the hands of wrong people. If we backtrack into history, we'll find that these wrong hands have all been under politicians. These are the same people that we have trusted over the years to supersede over our affairs as a district, as a city, but yet their journey or their aim goals is to benefit themselves and their parties, leaving the city of Ndola into disgrace, leaving the city of Ndola into undevelopment, leaving the city of Ndola in a deplorable state, leaving the people of Ndola into poverty. Ndola 20, 15 years ago, it was not as dark as it is. I said earlier, I've grown up in Ndola. Ask me what corner you want me to explain. I will tell you because I know the in and outs of Ndola. Yes, of course, we cannot say there's never been poverty in Ndola. Yes, we cannot say there's never been a dark street in Ndola. But over the 10 years down the line, it's tripled. That once dark street has now turned into 10, 15, 20 dark streets. That one family going without food has turned into a community without food on their table. It's so embarrassing. And I really get broken when I see people called politicians praising how much they've done, when in turn, what they have done is deprive the people's basic needs. We are not saying everyone should be a billionaire or a millionaire or too wealthy. Give every individual what they're due. Give Caesar what belongs to Caesar, says the Bible. People want good, clean water in Ndola. People want good street lightings. They want good roads. Most of these people have not even much to complain about except a good life, which does not cost as much billions as some people called politicians throw around. My intention and plan for Ndola is to bring back and even add more to the great city that it was back in the colonials. Mind you, it's so unfortunate that our own people, our own black-skinned people, can get us to this kind of poverty. A poverty that, should I say, is laughable, even by the people we fought colonialism against. They maintain the streets, they maintain the roads, they maintain the town, they maintained a good life, even if it was for themselves. But in us, what we have, I don't know, should I say it's all the black skin? I don't know what's wrong in adding value to another human being, apart from being selfish. We have been driven back to the colonial times where we have to fetch water from kiosks. We've been driven back in the colonial times where we don't have enough money to board on a vehicle. We've been driven back to the colonial where we don't have enough clean drinking water. We've been subjected to dirt in our community. Yet we say we are independent. Yet we say we have what it takes to govern ourselves. It's laughable. We are still depending on people from outside the country to come and help us. People called politicians should be embarrassed and should be ashamed. For Chipoka, myself, and my entire family that has carried the name, I can boast and celebrate that at least we add value to whatever we find in our way. That is our culture. That's a culture that I've been brought up in. I would rather not have enough, but I would share the little I have. This aspiration is not something that I would say I have in my pockets to make roads, to mend that, to put clinics, to put people's food on the table. I'm aspiring so that I can have control over what our politicians are misusing, control of what our so-called political parties are using against us. That money being given to political thugs in the name of cadres is our money. Those vehicles that they're brandishing around to make noise in our communities, to give us unrest, is our money. I want to give back our money to our communities. Let our resources give value to our city and our people. That is my plan, Fondo.
Awesome. I heard you clearly say that your plan is to your conviction rather is that the city has become deplorable and it has changed, it has lost its value because it is in wrong hands. And you are trying to push if you can salvage the city from the wrong hands. My question then comes, is it possible for you to save this city without the politicians in the game? Because I think that at the end of the day, you will still have to work with the government of the day. So how possible is it that you will salvage this city without the politicians?
Thank you so much. You know, this is a race to Ndola City Council,
Yes.
which is the institution mandated to look into the affairs of our district at local government level.
Mm-hmm.
This institution is governed under the Local Government Act. The repeal of Act 1991, which was amended in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you look at the Act itself properly,
Mm-hmm.
it has stipulated the functions of a local authority.
Mm-hmm.
It has explained what should be done at local level and what should not be done. Now, recovering our economy as a district, recovering our gloriousness from these people masquerading as politicians, by the way, is going to take more than just what the institution has currently.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when we have mayors from other political parties in that office, here is one factor we do not observe.
Mm-hmm.
For example, I'll create this political party known as Ndalama.
Mm-hmm.
Here is a president of Ndalama.
Okay.
Here is an MP of Ndalama.
Mm-hmm.
Here is a mayor coming from Ndalama party.
Okay.
Here is a councillor coming from Ndalama party.
Mm-hmm.
This party has a manifesto given out to the public. Out of this manifesto, this party will have its internal agendas. So, if the president, the MP, mayor, councillor coming from the same stream, it will be very difficult for outside control to be in effect. What do I mean? The president today will feel it necessary that you, the mayor of Ndalama party, give 20 hectares of land to an individual over a community. And because you're coming from Ndalama party, which you pay allegiance to, you will not reject that instruction. At the end of the day, what goes around the councils that we have in the country in a democracy that is full of a stream of one party or one belonging is called monopoly.
Okay.
In this kind of governance, not much people have a say.
Mm-hmm.
I come back to the other reasons why I am contesting under independent. I do not have an independent president. I do not have an independent councillor. I do not have an independent MP that I'm endorsing currently. But me being the supervisor, or should I say, the person who's overlooking the functions of this local authority, which is governing the district, I will have a say in an instruction given from external forces. Are we getting somewhere?
Yes, yes, yes.
The deplored state that we're in as a district is coming from as a result of just picking Vandalama Pate Beka Beka. When they intend to create a wrong action or to do a wrong, it will never be objected anywhere in this stream. And it's vice versa, whether it's coming from councillor going up or president coming down, it will be a yes, never a no, because they are sharing mutual benefits, mutual interests. Now, here is a bridge where Chipoka is an independent mayor. I will save the people from such wrong decisions. I'll be able to say, dear councillor, I don't agree. And my power as an independent will be so powerful in a way that I will not be compelled to do certain things. Unlike a mayor coming from a political party. Do you know what they do to you in an organization where you don't follow instructions? In this state, we're talking about political parties. They expel you and nullify your seat. So tell me which mayor under a party will want to disobey, knowing the effects of that disobedience. We are not being genuine to ourselves as a people. These people that we see chanting, trust me, they are direct beneficiaries to whoever they chant for. You and me in that community, Chipulukusu, Kabushi, Kantolomba, Komando, Taragan, we don't directly benefit. We follow the benefits that the institution gives us. In this case, which we're getting none. How am I going to win my sanity goal in this district? One, I want to make the local authority as powerful as possible. In the line where you have private sectors giving you the yes or no answer, it's very difficult to have power over them. In business, we say you can never compete in the private sector without assets. That is the truth. Businessmen will agree with me. Why are our brothers coming from outside the country developing assets for their businesses? We need to ask ourselves. That is the muscle of their finances and their capacity. If today, my brother from Uganda who has a filling station goes broke, he's going to be able to borrow money outside our country using his filling station as collateral. That is now where we say, no, Zambians don't get opportunities, Ndola people only impressing foreigners. I don't want to give power to one person. I want to give power to the local authority to own assets. Owning assets will give us supreme power over a lot of other private institutions in Ndola.
Awesome. We are going to take a short break and we will be right back as we are having the interview with Honorable Ellington Chipoka, who's standing on the Ndola mayoral ticket. We will be right back.
Kulila Muzambia tatwatalalwa kwenkondo namulifyonse fye twapitamo tatulaba one Zambia, one nation kumvumulesa my Zambia, my identity, the fear of your love, the fear of your love. kulila muzambia tatwatalalwa kwenkondo namulifyonse fye twapitamo tatulaba one Zambia, one nation kumvumulesa my Zambia, my identity, ifi of your love, ifi of your love. My Zambia, my identity, ifi of your love, ifi of your love.
You are back, and we are live with the Honorable Ellington Chipoka, who is standing as the mayor of Ndola City, and we are excited. He was in the middle of explaining some of the plans that he has. I hope, Ndola, you are listening. Please feel free. We've already started seeing questions are coming in. Like I said, at the end of the interview, people are bombarding you with a lot of questions. Get ready for that. So just keep asking all those questions, and we will be more than glad to answer every question that you have. So you were in the process of explaining some of the plans that you have for the city of Ndola, and you had clearly talked about the sanitation, clean water, streets, local government, and that is where you were. Please build on, sir, as you continue to explain about some of the plans that you have for the city of Ndola.
Thank you so much. I was talking about assets for the local authority. I want to put in brackets the word sanity. As I explain, keep that in mind. You know, look at the insanity that we are experiencing. People are able to divide land at whatever time and day because the leaders in charge of this do not have control anymore. That's insanity. People are able to sit in their offices whilst work is pending, whilst there are queues all over council. That is insanity. People have decided to be so lazy that they cannot create think tanks together with their business community. Because let me tell you, prophetess,
Yes, sir.
the problem that Ndola is facing is beyond council alone. It should be a collective problem. It should include or involve the business community, the church, the faith groups, the professional bodies, name it. This is a collective problem. So how do we get out of this problem is by engaging these partners we have in the district. Other than that, the Mr. I know it all kind of mentality will just bring us further backwards. Right now, we are going into the next session of a 5-year term. This 5-year term, I always say this, it's a decision where our Ndola city and as a country as a whole chooses whether to depreciate further or to have its head above the water. We are sinking. Slowly but sure, we are. Let no one cheat you. I engage communities on a daily basis. I have seen families that used to afford 2 meals now are just affording 1. I have seen people that had casual jobs but now don't have. We are sinking. So this 5-year term is a God-given indicator of either us having our head above the water or sinking and drowning. Mr. Chipoka is here to offer an extra strength for our district to have its head above the water. Now, those that are going to get it out of the waters are these partners I've mentioned: the church, the professional bodies, the um, the foreign brothers and sisters that we have influxing our district. Because, by the way, Ndola is a border town. It stands at a very huge advantage, unlike so many other towns. Ndola was founded to be a manufacturing hub. As we all know, do we still have the manufacturing industry? The answer is no. Do we have even the entrepreneurship at a level where we can celebrate? The answer is no. I am a youth. I interact with a lot of entrepreneurs in town. They are finding it hard to do business on a daily basis. Not that they are not trying. The environment is toxic. It has been poisoned by the so-called politicians. Me coming in as Ndola mayor, the one thing that I want to give powers over anything in our district, it's you, the people. I want decision making to have you inclusive in them, not where someone wake up and say lero ndi yangu putula empanga kuminsundu aya putula, nobody does anything. Lero ala imat no ina patepo tant kaserapo katantike kulia, no one will say anything. That is the insanity that we have. Our military personnel, our health personnel, people that contribute too much to Ndola, have been disrespected to a level where they don't have a bigger say to a thug. I don't call them cadres. What they do is thuggery. Not that they cannot retaliate, but they fear for their jobs. What kind of a district are we living in? I want to give shelter to our people in uniform. I want them to be confident that we have a mayor who understands sanity. I want to give shelter to our teachers, knowing as they do their work that we have a mayor who understands sanity. I want to give relief to our police officers when they're doing their work, knowing we have a mayor who understands the law, because I understand the law more than a lot of these aspiring MPs, aspiring councillors, aspiring mayors. I feel if we did things the way they should be done, we'll be out of this mess sooner than even the end of 5 years. But if we do not rather pay a blind eye or a deaf ear to people such as myself who stand on truth, because I'll be frank with you, I'll tell you the truth. And it's up to you to hate me for it, love me for it, but I'll face you head on and say, you are a wrong person for this kind of category. You are a wrong person for this kind of people. What people need now is not just a mayor. What people need is a mayor who is able to embrace everyone. As you all know, I am non-segregative. I embrace people from any party. I embrace people from any church, any religion. I embrace people from different belongings. Why? I have a heart to maintain and comfort everyone together. It's very shameful when we make the same mistakes that we already know that they're mistakes. We've been through this, and God has given us this time to go through it again. I mean the elections. We know what they've held, the results they've put to us, and we know the disadvantages we've had with the decisions we made. Let's not repeat the same mistakes. Nobody, no one, and I repeat, no one will come to our rescue apart from people like me and others who are as wise as I am and as welcoming as I am in this district, in this city of Ndola.
Okay. You want to be working with the people, yes. And how do you intend to do that, sir?
How do I intend to do that? I have stated that I was, firstly, a police officer, a very good police officer who embraced everyone. And I feel because of my personality, at some point, I started feeling like I'm compressed to a stage where I cannot do certain things. That's my principle.
Okay.
Trish, if you're innocent, and I know you are, trust me, I won't mind who's above me. I'll tell you you're innocent, and I'll fight for you. That is the person I was in the system.
Right.
So when that, at some point, because we are not all the same, those kind of conflicts started affecting my individual being. I said, let me work where I'll be comfortable. That's founding my foundation now. I've engaged communities at childhood level, at employment level, at non-employment level, at self-employment level. I want to engage the people of Ndola collectively.
Okay.
How am I going to do that?
Yes.
I will give room for people to do what they need to do, and I will guide on what they don't need to do. That is how I will engage our district of Ndola. Because I will not give a condition for you, might not be a condition for my neighbor, for my other neighbor.
Okay.
Your benefit might not be their benefit. Your requirements now might not be their requirements. So I'll carry every individual as they are. That is the engagement I'm talking about. Systematically, I have come up with this structure that will help me really understand the people in my district. As you vote me in as mayor, I want to know how many teachers I have in the district.
Okay.
I've made that a priority. I want to know how many engineers, working and non-working, I have in my district. I'll be involved to know those with interest of joining the military in my district. I want to know how many graduate nurses I have, working and non-working, in my district, so as to give me a proper statistics of the people I have in my district. People cry of jobs, but do we even know the kind of jobs that they're looking for?
So the idea of you knowing these statistics, maybe you want to know the number of teachers, the number of engineers, the number of nurses. The logic behind that is there a plan? Is this just to know you have 10,000 teachers, or is there a plan attached to you knowing that number of people based on their qualifications and stuff like that?
Yes, there is a plan. I'm a transparent person, and I'll continue being that transparent person all my life. If I know that in Kavushi constituency, I have 200 teachers, I have 200 civil engineers, I have 200 doctors, and half of that number is currently in employment, I'll need to start pushing for either internal or external governmental employment for the rest of the people. I don't want my fellow youths to be languishing around. If it means the private sector will have to create room for employment, I have to be the one to push for that. That is what I intend to do. I want to create an environment where our city will be favorable for investments, both internal and external. By the way, investments create a certain percentage of employment. I want to be on top of the game when central government says we're employing 2,000 teachers. As mayor of Ndola, I'll raise my hand and say, how many are you employing in Ndola? I'll be the one to get those numbers to them. I want to cut down the middleman. I want to cut down the corruption. I want to cut down the bribes, because not everyone can afford that. There are people who are better qualified, except they are not privileged as some.
Okay.
So that kind of category will have me as their shield and umbrella. I will go in offices requirably to push for employment, to push for opportunities on their behalf. I want them to know we have a mayor that thinks about us. I want to be the kind of mayor that who have such statistics and say, hey, Trish, not obviously me calling, who have certain departments that should work with that. They say, hey, Trish, there's a job opening at this company where you did not apply. We want council to be on top of these kind of systems. Because look, Trish, teachers are complaining that trust me, I know teachers that graduated in 2009. Up to now, they've never found employment. But those graduating in 2019, 2018 have found themselves in employment. Corruption, bribery. Some are being asked to pay 30, 40, 50,000. Where do you get that at your level? I want transparency in my district. I love Ndola at heart. I want transparency. I want when the army says we're recruiting 4,000, I'll tell them that the 500 that you're getting from Ndola, you get them through me. Okay. And not me through the system I'm putting up of not facially recognizable, but qualification recognizable.
Okay, Honorable, I'm just gonna try and stop you right there. If you get these statistics and then you are trying to is there a guarantee that if you push these 500 in, they will be able to take them? Looking at, because I think that capacity is also another issue that you can look at, because it's not just in Ndola, it's Kitwe, it's all these others. So if they say from every city they are getting a limited number, then how do you endeavor to push for that 500, considering that they cipher the kind of number? So I really think that shouldn't this be much more about capacity? Because even if you give them the number, let's say I want 500 people to be employed, if they do not have the capacity, there's no guarantee they'll get the 500 that you are pushing for them to get into.
You missed my point. The last statement was not facially recognizable, but qualificationally recognizable.
Yes.
That was my last statement. Trish, when I know that you are a qualified teacher under the database or system that I've put here, it qualifies you for employment in our country.
Yes.
I know the qualifications of major institutions in our country.
Yes.
So we'll be able to advise you and say, okay, you brought these qualifications, but looking at the kind of job you're going to aspire for or maybe go for later, this will not qualify you. That will also create a push or a provocation in my fellow youths to go further in their studies, to go further in their understandings of capacity network building and things like that. It's not about who you know. That's what it is now. But for me, I don't want the who you know kind of leadership. I want the what you have kind of leadership.
Exactly. Now, when we come to the what we have leadership, this is where I'm talking about. Let's say Ndola has 200 qualified teachers and there are only 5 schools. So in as much as I am qualified and there are only 5 schools that only need 10 teachers, so I didn't miss your point. I got it. You are looking at the people who are qualified.
Thank you.
Do you really think the issue is about qualification or it is about capacity? Because I think that we have a lot of people, and I've been raising this question time and again, not just to you, but to others, to try and see what really is the plan behind that. Because, Honorable, if you go out there, many people are educated. They've been to school. So what they are lacking is not education.
Yes.
What they are lacking is the job and the employment for that. Now, that is where I'm trying to understand you as the mayor, or when you come in your office, what is the capacity? In as much as who you know plays a role, there's also another role we cannot ignore. And that is the fact that many people have been to school. Yes, they are suffering from an aspect of who you know, but they are also suffering from the point that there are just no jobs.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
What I understand capacity, and we will not fight with that. I am not saying that when you have 5 employed and that's the end. First of all, I talked about year of qualification. It's so unfair, even if we talk about capacity. You pick a teacher who graduated in 2019 into employment, you're leaving the one who graduated in 2002 or 2005 or 2010. It's unfair, Trish. So my system of structuring such
Mm-hmm.
will also look at how long has this person stayed without employment.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you have the numbers elevating up, then you twist, then you turn the bucket.
Mm.
So you pick from bottom. You get the point?
Okay.
Apart from that, I want a council that will have the capacity to create employment itself. Yes, of course, we'll get employment from the private sector, we'll get employment from the central government, but I want a council that is going to own assets. What are these? Personally, in in the whole manifesto that is around me or surrounds me, assets is priority. Like I said, you cannot compete mostly in the private sector without assets. I want a council that will own milling plants to venture into business of milling mill. That's a two-way channel. By doing so, first of all, the construction of that milling plant will require our local expertise. That's employment, one. A council will create that employment before we go to even the central government or the private sector. Number two, the operators of that manufacturing industry will be the locals. Council again creates employment. And council will not lobby for funds to pay these because the assets it will have will be business ventured.
Okay.
They'll create profit. They'll bring more revenues to the council. The catch here is create more revenue for the council, have enough financial capacity or muscle, create employment from these assets that the council creates, and better the lives of people before you can even wait for the central government to come to your aid. By the way, council has the capability of doing this. If I say, let's increase our revenue generation by owning houses, council way back owned houses.
Yeah.
God forbid we did not have the power to stop certain things like selling them from happening, but they are now sold. Have you seen how that has crippled the council in revenue collection? So assets give you financial capacity, and this revenue collection amplification will create a better stand for you to empower the locals, to give them basic needs. Do you know that council alone can compete with the private sector in our district? It has what it takes. But the mindset that most are putting on the table is we will lobby, government will give us, the MP will get CDF. Council itself is limited to a 2-kwacha, 5-kwacha revenue it's collecting from markets and car parking fares, which is so unfortunate. I want council to be that massive in finances. The only way to go is assets. Give council assets such as houses, buildings, give council assets such as manufacturing industries run by council, employment done by council, payouts. Then you know that the district will be fully active. It's only an active city that makes our foreign brothers to rush into the city.
Awesome. My last question now comes to the issue of integrity. And as a leader, we cannot overlook how critical the issue of integrity is. What is your take on that as you are coming in the office as the mayor? What is your take when it comes to the issues of integrity?
Do work when we need to do work. Play when we need to play. I always say that to my daughter.
Okay.
When it's time to work, you work. It's time to play, you play. I'm a principled person. And I believe most of the people under the local government, under the institution of council, are principled people, except a few. Me coming in as mayor, I am coming in with proper scrutiny of the kind of people we have under our institution. It's high time we stopped the facial recognition, but the principle, integrity, and moral standing of somebody. In the Zambia police service, when one police officer makes a wrong, they say the police. In the army, they say a soldier. It's one.
It's one person.
In the council, one director is mentally disturbed in some states.
Mm-hmm.
They say the council is mentally disturbed.
Mm-hmm.
I will not be labeled as a mayor running a corrupt council. I will not be labeled as a mayor running an indisciplined council, an unprofessional council.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be a mayor who will stand on the truth, who will stand on morals, who will stand on principle, who will stand on integrity. I want the name of the council to be a very big celebration for the people of Ndola.
Awesome.
Therefore, muntu nga lya ku Ndola lyandi ati na aku council fire yafipwe na kuyama bwate noti katwishinga bala apwisha. That's the level council has reached. Katwishinga bala apwisha.
Mm-hmm.
People's land matters from 2014, 13, 10 have dragged. Are you telling me there are no directors even up to now who are able to sort them out? Are you telling me there's no town clerk? Are you telling me there's never been councillors? This taking for granted of people is what will really provoke me to scrutinize the kind of team that I'll be surrounded with.
Okay.
Because I don't like pending issues.
Mm.
I like a fresh breath. I want somebody comes, what's a solution? This is a solution, go ahead with it. Not I can't come okay, no mwinga puishas council. No if so kaloko tabasenda. Pakabakesa abena kaloko. Wonse pakanso kusamkulomba tipacha.
Okay. Okay.
It's quite unfortunate.
I know. Well, in our dying minutes, as I get quickly to the questions, I'm going to give you 3 minutes to sell yourself why people should vote for Honorable Ellington Chipoka. So I will give you that. Just look at the people right there. Tell them, convince them with everything that you are. And I'm going to quickly just get into the questions because as soon as you finish your pitch, take it as your last statement as you are writing your will and everyone is listening, and then I can get to handle the questions that will be coming in. So I'll give you that few minutes and then I will be reading the questions that are coming in after your pitch. Over to you.
1. Chipoka is a son to my parents in Ndola. Chipoka is a brother to my fellow youths. I am not Mr. Know-it-all, but I carry an integrity that stands on principles. I'm a disciplined person, and I just want things to be done the way they should be done. I am coming to curb the corruption in council through proper scrutiny of its activities, because that's a derailment. I am going to create assets for the institution to build its financial capacity, to be able to employ, to be able to give basic needs such as water, good health, sanitation, and proper hygiene to every resident in communities. I will work hand in hand with the church, with the professional bodies, with the business community to look at certain problems and solutions that cannot only be handled by council, because there are problems that we cannot only handle as a local authority. I will ensure that I am on the ground 24/7. I do not enjoy the luxury of an office. For those that don't know me, I am a field person, a practical person. I like being more on the ground than being more on paper. I understand what needs to be done through the Local Government Act, through my different kind of studies, through the wisdom that you, my parents, you, my brothers, you, my sisters, have given me, and are still contributing to who I am. But I'll be more practical, because what has lagged Ndola behind is a practicality of things. Things are not being done. They've been documented, they've been talked about, but they're not being done. I want to get the work done. I don't want to see garbage languishing in markets. I don't want to see people getting water utility bills that they are not utilizing. I don't want to see my fellow youths always in the beer drinking arcades because they cannot find anything to do. It's not your fault. I don't blame majorities of you. It's what the people we've entrusted power with have done. They have dragged us behind, including myself, including you. Let us hold hands together and save our city. And I'll guarantee you that no one will be left behind under my administration.
Well, that was Honorable Ellington Chipoka standing on the mayor ticket of Ndola City. We quickly get into the questions, and I have questions coming in. We will be taking them three at a go, and one each. Okay. So I'm going to read the first question, which is saying, you are convicted, Mr. Chipoka. You were making counterfeit money. Can we trust you with a mirror post? Please explain.
Thank you very much.
And the next one is saying, um, both you and your senior, Mr. Chipoka, I believe, who's your father, has been jailed and suspended and sentenced for criminal activities. Should we marry Chipoka to criminality?
Third question.
So we can answer the two, then move to the third one. Okay. This one is a comment coming from Chuala. Good question. An independent candidate is chosen by the people to work with the people. If they try to ruin his beautiful plans for our city, we will fight for direct impeachment. So that's just a comment. So we can probably answer the two questions and then we move to the next one.
Okay, thank you so much. I want to clarify on the conviction. This is a matter that most of our colleagues in the so-called political arena want to use so that people will be shielded away from seeing the real truth on the ground. But the matter of fact is, I am a principled person. And those who know the circumstances surrounding that conviction will attest to you. You know, we come from an environment where if you fight for the right thing, the wrong ones will fight you. I will not say the people that convicted me are wrong people, but there is what we call external influence. Even to the people who have questioned these, if I was that close to you and wanted to ruin you because I know what you're worth, I'm able to do that. But that does not guarantee that that is the true image of someone. If you will be cheated, that Chipoka is a convict, he was making counterfeit notes, then my brother or sister, you are way too out of developmental agendas right now. Chipoka is here to add value. That one conviction that people have put on Chipoka will make you lose 1 million of the true intended achievements that Chipoka has given to the people. Ifo bali eshabai tunaka. Trust me, it's not the first time ngakutwipanga kale. Mukomfuati no Chipoka kwena alistrenefya uma no muntu bamnonga maseuzi. Some of you should really go to the police stations and get the right facts. Don't just go with what the newspaper tells you or what my opponent tells you. Bakamilufya. And two, I will never use character assassination on any of the opponents that I have. They have facts that's around their backgrounds, but I'm not interested in that. And I know those are engineered comments, those are engineered questions, but I forgive you, my brother. Go and look for the things that Chipoka has done to help Ndola. And then you weigh between the conviction that you are being taught and the things that Chipoka has done for the people of Ndola. You'll be able to advise yourself correctly. Thank you so much.
Okay. The next question is saying, is it true that you are a thief? And also tell the city about the 2 main plots in Kafubu East Dam that you and your father got that leaked in a conversation with Mr. Kawasa. That's the first one. And the second one is, with the way you are involved in forgery cases, won't you, a star, forging council documents. Why should the people of Ndola trust you?
Can I answer?
Yes, please.
I go back to
kulila muzambya tatwatalalwa kwenkondo namuli fyonse fye twapitamo tatulaba one Zambia, one nation kumvumuleza my Zambia, my identity, ifi of your love, ifi of your love. My Zambia, my identity, ifi of your love, ifi of your love.
We are live as Honorable Ellington Chipoka is answering the questions that have been coming from the viewers who have been listening, and I will allow him to exculpate himself on the two questions that we just picked, and then we will move to the next one.
Thank you so much. I said you balance for yourself what Mr. Chipoka has done for the people and what you're being told that Chipoka did. That obviously some of you will use to blind yourselves for the prosperity that is ahead of you. Let me make this on record. May he so rest in peace. Our president, our late president, Dr. Mr. Michael Osata, was convicted at some point for something he did not do. Did he stop his mission? He did not. Chipoka is never stopping his mission to come to the aid of people. You can even put murder charges on my head. He will never stop. Because I know me more than anyone out there will tell you. So the best is you take what I tell you to those questions not being true in any way, or you carry what you're being told and miss the true me. Because I know what I stand for. On the contrary, we do have this system in us, Makamaka, the young people, to say, "How kind of balanda?" We don't have time to dig. We don't have time to find out. And that's what mostly I encourage the youths. Find out. Get to find out. Be interested before you even post that question to me. Find out what really happened. I won't be able to explain here because we have a limited time, but find out what really happened. Because if I tell you to say, actually, I've decided to keep quiet about the case because it would actually bring in a lot of big giants, you'll be shocked. So don't really, just find out. As I've stated, I will not stop my mission to come to the rescue of people. It's up to you. If you feel that I am not qualified enough because somebody told you I'm a convict, my brother, I'll ask you to put your vote on another person. It's not a forcing plea. But those that really understand where I'm driving to with the city of Ndola would truly support me and would truly together, including yourself who wants to persecute me over issues you don't understand, will benefit in this district. So let us take time to dig. Let us take time to find out what are the real issues about what we're talking about.
Okay, the next question comes from Hondes Yame, and it reads, wasn't this candidate convicted for being in possession of counterfeit 100 kwacha notes and consequentially fired as a police officer and served suspension conviction? Does he qualify for this position?
So,
The next one.
Okay.
It is coming from Moses Chanda. It is coming from Candy Case. In the previous interview with your fellow aspiring candidates for the Ndola mayor, You lied that you resigned from the police service when the actual facts were that you were fired for making fake money at your home. Please clarify.
Can I answer?
Next,
So,
Moses Chanda. Is it true that you are a thief? And also tell the city about the two main plots in Kafubu East Dam that you and your father got that leaked your conversation with Mr. Kasaba. Next, Cedric Banks. This, with the way you are involved in forgery cases, weren't you a star in weren't you a
those are the
star
same
in
questions.
it's the same question. Okay. The next one is this question. The next one is coming from this question on conviction keeps popping up everywhere. Please address it early. Then we move to Mponde Siame. There are questions on YouTube about this conviction. Why isn't it being addressed? Okay, so we can handle those.
Okay. Basically, it's talking about one and the same thing, which I've explained over and over, but I'll explain it for the last time. Okay. Take time to dig more information on what happened, on what really transpired. I do not want to use names on this forum, but I'll tell you to say I have worked with people that have never really been with the intentions I've had in the police service. Like I said, I stood on the truth in the police service. Those that know me will tell you. And I was stubborn at that. When I know you're innocent, you're innocent. And I'll prove it to most people. Not that the police itself infringes on the rights of people who are innocent, but we have characters that want to pocket the power of a police officer. I worked under some, and because I never got along with a lot of them, then this case of money laundering or fraud or making monies came up. First of all, there was never any evidence on me that I was manufacturing notes. Now I'm putting it to the table. There was never evidence of me, even in court, that I was manufacturing counterfeits. My house was searched. My bank accounts were searched. My mobile accounts were searched. Everything, my vehicle, I don't know where the police did not search. Not one note of counterfeit or even other currencies related were found on me. That's number one. Number two, statement of the witnesses that were involved in my case were related to the officers prosecuting my case. That's how heavy this case was. Officers would come in court and lie. Outside the court, they would apologize. That's a gravity of some of these matters you don't understand. In our line of service, there are certain instructions you don't abrogate. If you are told, nail him, for those who are weak, they will nail you, even for the things you did not do. I want to clarify that. So now, knowing that Chipoka is a stubborn person at the truth, and most of my officers never liked that. They said, we'll pin him on this case and we'll make sure he will go down. But like I said, I am not an override. I am not an easy catch. You push me down, I get up, because my spirit never rests on something that is not true. Thirdly, you said I was fired. Ask the police service, even up to now. Go as far as the Inspector General of Police. They've never fired me, but I resigned. You are free to go as far as the Inspector General of Police office in headquarters, Lusaka. Ask them, is Chipoka Ellington, number 44563 constable, fired? They'll tell you he's never in any record fired. Rather, I have resigned. And the reasons for my resignation is prejudice, is witch hunt, is unprofessionalism surrounding certain senior officers and in my charge or above my charge. I was a constable, but I was not a police officer who was willing to obey unlawful instructions. And the people that were involved in my case are people that have saved their lives before. So before you go any further, those that are prompting you to say, no, nail him on the conviction, one-on-one, outside camera, or maybe we go on a nationwide TV, I would mention name by name and the acts of these officers that they were into, that I found out, and they decided to get rid of me by sentencing me to jail. Fortunately, the judge knew exactly the circumstances around the case, except he was under external influence and so much hot soup that he said, I know by the nature of sentencing you, becoming a convict, you are relieved of your duties. And he sentenced me to 2 years suspended. Even after that, the police still never let me go. By the way, that's now you to ask them, why didn't you let him go? Why didn't you give him dismissal letters? They knew that what they wanted was me inside prison, not anywhere outside. That gave me enough room to resign by myself, because I knew that the next time they call me back in the service, I'll be a dead man even by gunshot. Most of you will not understand how we were.
Okay. The next question is coming from Mponde Siame, and it is saying, we are a free market economy. How does the council come in and start running business? You also can't seem to differentiate between capitalism and socialism. Let's be serious. We move on to the next one. I think Cedric Banks has asked the question. Yes. Yes. So that's the only one that we have. How does the council come in and start running businesses, and you can't seem to differentiate between capitalism and socialism?
Thank you so much. Why I want council to come in and not run businesses that are already being run by the private sector. You didn't get me right, Mr. Banks. I mean council being a part of the business environment by owning its own assets. There's no limitation to that. It was there in the previous past. Council owned houses. Did they say council is running houses or real estate on behalf of other people? No. This is just to amplify. Look, Mr. Banks, if we keep this tendency of 2 kwacha, 5 kwacha revenue collection, council will never meet your needs as communities. That you should know. Council needs to buy graders, needs to repair machinery for your roads to be graded. Where is that money going to come from, apart from venturing into a more profitable income? Other countries have external resources. Why can't Ndola City Council have external resources? What the government as a treasury is using majority is the taxpayers' money and other taxes that is getting. But the country still has external businesses or external functions running outside the government itself to beef up. What I'm saying is council should have a capacity to do the works that you needed to do in your community, but not with the same 2 kwachas, 5 kwachas revenue that you keep relying on. Under me, we are not getting business from the private sector. We are entering into a competition. By the way, some of these are exploiting our people in Ndola. If you are not exploited, the person in Maria Chimona is failing to afford a bag of mealie meal because it's costing way too much. Their income is 100 kwacha and the price of mealie meal is 150 when the cost of production is 105 kwacha. Council is not a profit-making venture. It's a service delivery institution. If council can produce 125 kilogram bag at 105 kwacha and sell it at 120 kwacha, it gives you back 25 kwacha in your pocket and gives council a profit of 5 kwacha, and it has created unemployment at the same time. Don't you think that's ideal? If you don't agree with me, give me solutions and proposals. I'll table them with other stakeholders.
Awesome. That was Honorable Ellington Chipoka standing as a mayor of the city of Ndola. Well, we have come to the end of the program, and I hope that every one of you who has been listening. You have known who Honorable Ellington is, and come the 12th of August, make sure you vote. What are they voting for? What should they look
My
for?
symbol is a tree.
Okay.
Pachimuti, leo twachita verify my ballot boxes. Thank you, by ECZ. For me, I'm satisfied. Everything is intact. I have no complaint. Thank you, Zambia Police, because you have been professional, except a few. Thank you, other stakeholders, because you have been there in the whole process, and I hope you'll be there even after. And I also want to commend the head of state on this platform for adding extra security personnel. I've been a personnel of security or who handles security in this country. I'll tell you that is a way to go if we want to see our people in peace, not in pieces. So let us keep each other. Let us remember, Nipachimuti ba mayor, nekafye. There's no mayor who has a tree. Ni nekafye in Chipoka. Kuli balebo chakali pisha at no alikwata conviction rate. Aleni bakalamba kwena tualomba, you're free. It's a democracy. You can go for the people that are cheating you. But I just hope and pray that we make that mistake we've made for the last 10, 15 years of electing people that don't have a heart for us. I want, when I greet you in the streets, to say, how are you? Give me, I'm fine as an answer. Don't say Tafiri Bueno, I will slap you. Because these things are being caused by us. And the ignorance of letting other people manipulate our minds is what has driven us this far. We know what is right. We know what to do, but we want to hide in the pretext of other things being brought to us. We are all mature people voting this year. Let's make the wise choice.
Okay, there you have it. On the 12th of August, make sure mukavotera Pachimuti. Otherwise, wakamitobolo pinga mwaisa skati tabuli fyo bwino.
Yes, why should they complain? Why should they complain? This is a decision on us.
So make sure you think, pray, and vote. And if the Lord leads you to go and vote for Chipoka, so make sure you go and
the slap comes when you still complain. When you still complain, even after making your own decision, but you want to still complain. When you meet